We're back again with another stimulus check update for you on the second stimulus check. And today we got a very special topic. We're going to be talking about the stimulus check 2 update on the direct deposit $1,200 checks, and talks restarted today. That's your second stimulus check update for August 27th of 2020. And make sure you watch this video all the way through to the end of the video. That way you don't miss out on the special bonus that I have in store for you at the end of the video. And make sure that you subscribe using the big red button below, so that way you don't miss the stimulus check updates that we do in videos on this channel every single night. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out. Well, basically what's going on here is the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, they resumed talks today over a stalled stimulus relief package, but the outlook for any swift resolution appeared bleak as President Donald Trump's team and congressional Democrats have been unable to agree on a compromise. So Pelosi said that she told Meadows the Democrats will be willing to meet halfway at $2.2 trillion, a slight reduction from her last proposal before the talks collapsed earlier this month. The White House, which has stuck with its initial $1 trillion offer, had no immediate response to that. We have said again and again that we're willing to meet in the middle, $2.2 trillion. When they're willing to do that, we'll be willing to discuss the particulars. Pelosi told reporters that at the Capitol today. They had a 25-minute phone call this afternoon. And it was the first attempt to restart the negotiations on the stimulus package since their talks fell apart on August 7th. The stalemate comes as the jobless claims hit over 1 million people who filed for unemployment last week, which was reported today. And households are still struggling with the mounting C-word sickness. Death toll now is above 180,000, higher than any other country in the world. Now, the House Democrats' opening bid was the $3 trillion plus HEROES Act, a sweeping aid package approved in May. It proposed money for cash-strapped states, housing, jobless assistance, to help schools reopen, and to conduct more widespread virus testing. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who hit pause on that package of new spending, eventually came up with a $1 trillion counteroffer a few weeks ago. But he acknowledged Thursday that talks are in a stalemate. McConnell said he remained hopeful for a deal. We need another one. The country needs another one, he said during his visit to a hospital in Pikeville, Kentucky. Congress is on recess until September. It appears unlikely that lawmakers will be recalled to Washington unless there is a deal ready to vote on. Talks are nowhere near resolution, and in fact, broadening to include the Postal Service funds before the November election. Also, a need for new disaster aid is expected with the Gulf state hurricanes and California wildfires. Any relief package could become rolled into talks over a must-pass package to keep the government funding after September 30th budget year deadline. McConnell floated a skinny proposal last week, trying to move talks toward a more narrow band of priorities most Democrats and Republicans agree on, including help for small business and some type of jobless benefits boost to replace the $600 a weekly boost that expired in July. There's also widespread support for at least $105 billion for education to help schools prepare for fall classes. And McConnell also suggested $10 billion for the post office, which is less than the $25 billion mail rescue Pelosi and Democrats voted on Saturday and approved during widespread postal disruptions. Now, one key sticking point involves sending federal dollars to cash-strapped states and local governments. Democrats initially sought $1 trillion to help cities and states to weather the crisis, but Trump, McConnell, and other Republicans refused to provide what they call bailouts for states. Pelosi said she's willing to continue negotiating, but only if Trump and Republicans meet her halfway. She had earlier shaved $1 trillion off of the HEROES Act, brought it down to $2.4 trillion in their first round of negotiations. Pelosi said, "We're not going to budge today. We can't go any less because we have to meet the needs of the American people. When they are willing to do that, they will let us know." Now, Meadows is a former congressman who headed the Conservative Freedom Caucus, and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. They've been briefing Republican senators almost on a day-by-day basis, but those familiar with the private conference calls says that there's been little new information about any new deal. Yet McConnell faces his own difficulties because many, if not most, of the GOP senators or Republican senators appear satisfied for now that there remains enough existing aid available and no new money is not needed. The split in his ranks, it kind of gives Pelosi an upper hand in the talks and negotiations because she's been able to bring most of her Democrats on board with her proposals. And in contrast, Mitch McConnell has not been able to bring his Republicans in the Senate on board with his proposals also as well. So that's pretty much good news and bad news. The good news I get out of that is that the negotiations has restarted. You know, they've been paused since August 7th, and today they've been resparked, you know, by a brand new phone call between Nancy Pelosi and Mark Meadows. Okay, so that's the good news. The bad news is Nancy Pelosi is still sticking with her, holding her punches, pretty much. She's not caving in. She's not negotiating. Well, she is negotiating. She trimmed $2 billion off of her offer. Her first original offer was the CARES Act, the $3.4 trillion. Then she negotiated that down to $2.4 trillion. Further today, she negotiated that down to $2.2 trillion. But at the end of the conversation, the 25-minute conversation that she had with Mark Meadows today, the end result was Nancy Pelosi saying no again to any deal. Okay, so next we have the airlines, which I found that, you know, quite good news and bad news too also as well. This is good news for more stimulus checks and another stimulus package. Bad news because massive amounts of people will be getting laid off beginning in October if there's no stimulus package passed through Congress. Now, at the onset of the virus and corresponding shelter-in-place orders, the airlines saw their business crumble overnight. In response, the government provided the companies with $25 billion in aid. This is in the past, right? In the beginning of the pandemic to ensure that operations continued, even as travel disappeared. The caveat of the aid restricted airlines from making major staffing changes through September. Now, that deadline is nearing an end, and airlines have begun to warn that major furloughs and layoffs are on the horizon. On Tuesday, American Airlines announced that it will lay off 19,000 workers, including flight attendants, pilots, and technicians, starting on October 1st. The announcement follows other airlines that have signaled similar moves. United Airlines said it might need to furlough 36,000 employees this fall, while Delta Airlines has said it could furlough nearly 2,000 pilots in October. Now, in other stimulus check news, the IRS just announced that it will send out 50,000 stimulus checks next month. The catch-up economic impact payment relates to a mistake that the IRS had made in processing the original stimulus payments. Now, individuals who did not file Form 8379, but they had their stimulus check reduced for some reason, for the same reason that is, they will also receive a catch-up stimulus check, but it will take some time according to the IRS. These individuals do not need to take any action, do not need to submit a Form 8379. The IRS does not yet have a time frame, but will automatically issue the portion of the EIP, Economic Impact Payment, that was applied to the other spouse's debt at a later date. So that's a little bit of good news too, also, that the IRS is going to mail out 50,000 checks that they had withheld mistakenly. Okay. So that's pretty much all I got for you on stimulus check update news for today. And make sure that you subscribe using the big red button below, because we will be doing another stimulus check update video tomorrow night and every night after that also. So from all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score LLC family, stay safe, be blessed. We'll see you in tomorrow's stimulus check update video. Bye for now. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the lowest payments on mortgages and lines of credit, travel the world for free, earn extra money with cash back. And if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them.